cast out's what's about to go down.
Yeah.
And it happens.
I like that Peter doesn't even take a second thought on whether or not he's going to fight over that. He's like, no. Yeah, like if I counter that, I'm dead to approach. I'll let it happen.
He's still going to get his 2 cards in his Torrential Gearhulk. And he's going to go ahead and cycle Fetid Pools.
Oh, that was on Alex's end step. So Alex chose to fight the fight over with that cast out on his own turn, which
prevents perhaps an activation. You know, he just saw an opening, right? Because Peter went, okay, I'm going to go for Torrential Gearhulk, and Alex said, all right, well, you can have that, but I can't let you keep the Scarab God around to bring back another one or something, though. I wonder what other juicy targets there were for Peter there. As, you know, these decks are traditionally pretty creature light.
Yeah, it is surprising me that he would have chose to do that in that spot there, rather than... Because right now the only thing that matters is whether or not he's able to resolve Approach to the Second Sun.
Right.
Right. He could just start, you know, really just like playing them and hoping that there's not counter magic on the other side of the table.
Just going to actually go for Fumigate here. I like it.
I like it too.
And now there's no pressure from Peter. And now Alex just has all the time in the world to build up the perfect hand to go for Approach. He will have multiple copies of it at his disposal as well. He'll draw one in a turn or two, and he'll have one in his hand that he's already got. So Peter's just going to discard the hand size.
Yeah, and we see right now in Peter's hand, he has a pair of disallows, and he's discarding, and all the other cards in his hand don't do anything in this matchup.
Nothing. He ripped an island, and of course Alex will know about that, but there's more lands coming off the top of the library for Alex, and that's really exactly what he wants to see at this point.
Yeah, he really wants to just be able to cast that Approach with, you know, some amount of counter magic backup.
And he also just has the luxury of brute forcing a bunch of this too. Ooh, there's a second counter spell. He is 1 mana short from being able to go Approach plus double disallow. Though he may just jam one here and just say, okay, counter this one, sure. Next turn I'm going to cast another one, and then the next turn I'm going to cast another, and I'll probably be able to have double counter for one of them. You know, there is some level of just resource exhaustion going against Peter here.
So here Alex does have double counter backup, I believe, right?
Yes, he does. He has 2 Approach. Or, excuse me, he actually does have 2 Approach, but what I meant to say was he has 2 disallow in his hand in addition to those 2 Approach. That one gets countered. And he's just going to pass the turn back again. And next turn, he's going to go do the exact same sequence. But then he's going to try to protect it. Ooh, Torrential Gearhulk, though, off the top shows a little bit of the downside to waiting from that position.
Yeah, and, you know, now...
It's just a clunky
he needs to draw another...
Well, he has it now. Like, because Peter's hand is Gearhulk plus disallow and then a bunch of cards that don't matter.
Yeah.
So he could just go put it on the stack. He goes Gearhulk, you go counter it. He goes disallow, you go counter it, and then you win the game.
Does he have 2 counter spells? 2 hard counters in hand?
Alex? Yeah. He has 2 disallow.
Double disallow?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, 2 disallow. It's all perfect. It's all lined up for him. Approach. Okay, just going to start off simple and just go for counter back, go for Gearhulk, counter that, wins the game.
Yeah, and that's going to be it.
Scoop them up, boys. That's Alex Lloyd taking out game number 1 from Peter Hollman. And it looks like we're just going to go right to game number 3 here.
Yeah, and as expected, you know, Alex has a huge edge in game 1 for the reason we discussed there. You know, when you're playing a control deck with a lot of interactive spells and your opponent is also playing a control deck, but they happen to be playing, you know, a fourth of their deck just as dead cards, and you're going to be pretty well positioned to win that match, or win that game rather. Post-boarded games, blue black control is able to change the matchup so that they're actually perhaps a little bit favored, but I don't know if it's enough to be a favorite over the course of all 3 games.
Would have been a good start there, a search for Escanto resolving on turn number 2, but Alex had the negate, and he recognizes the importance of that.
In the last game, we saw how important search for Escanto was. Both players fighting over it. Alex had used Cast Out to deal with Peters. Peter had used Field of Ruin.
Right now, Alex Lloyd flexing his superior basic land game on Peter, probably intimidating him. We are firmly in the land drop portion of our game. Oh, I lied. Pull from tomorrow from Alex for 3, but that's actually going to get censored. Censor pretty good against spells like that where you really are tempted to tap out. Land go has resumed.
Yeah, in these post-board land go type of games, a lot of the time the first person to miss a land drop ends up being the person who loses.
Yep.
It's an interesting...
they feel forced to start doing things.
Absolutely.
Where their opponent just simply does not. No, neither's flinched yet.
You see Peter Hollman, just too many cards to bring out. He still has the Vraska's Contempt in there. It probably is pretty good at dealing with, post-board something like Torrential Gearhulk or something that Alex Lloyd might have. But
Alex did finally miss a land drop here. He just said go. And Peter's going to go ahead and use a Supreme Will to dig on Alex's end step. So we do have that first flinch here in this, kind of game of chicken. And it was by Alex. And now we're going to see Peter start to clear the way. Wow, Duress is going to get a disallow, right out of hand here for Alex, the good old-fashioned way, just counter it. But that's kind of exactly what you want to hit with Duress is taking away their counter magic.
Yeah, I mean, essentially there in a lot of ways, Alex might just be casting that disallow there as a you don't have to show your opponent your hand kind of thing. Like, he's taking this disallow anyway.
There's an opt now for Alex. I know it's a little hard to keep track of where we're at any given point, but I believe we're on Peter's end step here. And it looks like Alex is going to continue to pick fights here. He's going to go for Glimmer of Genius. Wow, both of these have resolved.
Yeah, Glimmer's a really, really strong card.
Yeah, that is not the kind of thing that Peter wants to see. So as we transition over to Peter's turn, he's got a lot of new cards in his hand now. And it looks like those land drops have resumed for him. Here's Torrential Gearhulk. Both players really just aggressively picking fights on their opponent's end step.
Yeah.
What can he get back here? Hieroglyphic Illumination is the best one.
Yeah, that's a pretty nice one at this stage of the game.
Yep. Opt. Oh, and look at that. He finds Jace's defeat and even shows him that that's what he found with the opt. Just the rub-ins. But it didn't matter because Disallow came down and protected the Gearhulk, though. What did he flash back?
Did he forget to flash back because of the defeat? Oh,
he
did.
I don't think he actually flashed anything back.
He didn't. He's got his head in his head in hands.
What the?
Oh, no.
Peter. The value, bud.
2 cards just left on the table.
Yeah, I think I saw him react and go, oh, wait, no, I forgot.
Yeah, that's
put his
rough.
hand on his head.
Man.
Well, he does get a 5/6 out of the deal. That is a real threat and does actually have to be reckoned with here. Though, if this resolves, this is no bueno here for Peter. And it looks like it has. So, back up to 22 for Alex, which is pretty relevant here because that's, not a reasonable clock anymore with the Gearhulk. And so Peter's going to have to do Hieroglyphic Illumination the good old-fashioned way and just cast it from his hand. How pedestrian. He's going to need some more punch here. I do see that he has some in his hand, though. He's got at least a Scarab God going. And that could certainly help.
And he has a disallow too, so he can still, fight over what matters.
Yeah, this is not that bad. I mean, he'll be sad to not have those 2 cards, but his hand looks pretty good.
It's still a very winnable game for him.
He still has Vraska's Contempt in his hand. Looks not super great, though, Alex does have Torrential Gearhulks out of the board.
And, there are only so many cards you can sideboard out.
Yeah. Peter's just cycling his way through all of these lands. And still has the Gearhulk. Ooh, and he found a negate. That's a nice one.
Yeah, now he's got a pair of negates and a disallow. Now he's looking really good.
Yeah, you'll also often see the players not fight super hard over the first approach of the second sun, because just having put it on the stack sort of checks a box anyway.
Yeah.
It looks like Alex is going to go for a Torrential Gearhulk, though he's not getting any value out of it. He just targeted a Jace's Defeat. I guess he just didn't want to do an opt or whatever. But that Vraska's Contempt has now found a home and is looking to exile it. And that's actually what happens here.
Yeah, I mean, Peter's fought his way back into this game pretty well after that.
Yeah, he had a negate from early, drew another one, and he still has a disallow, and he's ahead on board. He doesn't need to put Vraska's Contempt in his graveyard because that's how that works. But otherwise, he is hung right in there. There has been an approach to the second sun, though, so that is absolutely looming over this game. But with double negate disallow.
Yeah, as long as he's able to leave up 7 mana. And now in the next turn, he already has, it's situated that he could leave up disallow and both negates and cast his Scarab God.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, chat says that he actually cast Glimmer, which I'm assuming is still then on the stack, but exiled. I just didn't see it, so I just don't know where it actually went.
Oh, Alex Gearhulk to Glimmer?
That's what the chat's saying. Yeah.
Okay.
Which would make more sense.
Yeah,
I knew
seems much more out.
I mean, he wanted to get the Gearhulk down. I can see why he would want to try to just get a Gearhulk down to block Gearhulk and just buy himself a ton of time. But obviously, he would target. They're responding to when I said, well, why didn't you just do opt?
Yeah.
But he had done a Glimmer. It's just gone. And remember, we're in TimeWalk, so I can't already do that. Yeah, it's already been resolved.
Can't change the past.
No, not yet. So what's going to happen now is the question. He's got a grip full of cards. He resolved the Glimmer. He's still facing down a Gearhulk, but he's at plenty of life at 17. He has already played one copy of Approach.
Yeah, so I mean, this game, it's going to be really hard for Alex to fight through the amount of counter magic in Peter's hand. But in the same sense, it's still anybody's ball game. Peter only has the one threat in play. He might be tempted to, let the Torrential Gearhulk die if Alex attempts to do anything. Doesn't want to, lose that critical third piece of counter magic for the ensuing war that they're going to be fighting over Approach to the Second Sun. All right. So,
apparently we've hit extra turns here as well, Jake.
Ah, interesting.
Which is not uncommon for control mirror matches. But this one actually does look like it has a good chance to finish before the 5 turns are over.
So something that's also pretty interesting, though, about this match right now is that with that Ifni Rivulet on Peter Hollman's side of the table,
Ooh, that's
the
scary.
onus is on Alex to try to do something. And
Now,
when
does he
you're
have any
playing-
other deserts, though?
Is it just?
It's just
Yeah, I think it's just the rivulet. So it
it's
may
a
not be
thing,
enough.
but it's just
Yeah,
not
yeah.
a repeatable, source of advantage for him. But if it does get down to it, it could, though. I think given the fact that we're in 5 turns means that's pretty unlikely. Opt from Alex. Top or bottom? Counting.
And we saw that come up in the semifinals of U.S. Nationals. All right, second turn of extra turns. Well, Alex has got to go for it eventually.
Well, he just drew a disallow off the top of his library. That is certainly going to give him some confidence, though. He gets turn 2, and then he'll get turn 4.
So he's going to go for it on next turn.
Peter's going to cycle a fetid pools. Let's go to turn 3. And he just says land go again. And we're going to see another gear hulk here from Alex. He does not have enough time for that to actually win him the game on the spot. So he's just going to use it to get an opt, as he's just trying to set up for the most perfect possible turn. But the window is next turn.
And I don't think it's going to
Oh, and he found Glimmer off of the opt. It is going to be very difficult to tear through the hand that Peter has, though.
Yeah, I
in
mean,
one
he's just got
turn.
a pile of negates and disallows in his hand.
Yeah, he's got double of both, and then he's got the Scarab God who's like, put me in play, coach, and Peter's like, no, sir. So I think we're actually going to end up seeing a draw here.
Yeah.
Your round 1 match has begun.
Run out the clock.
Please make your way to your seats.
All right, land, and here we go. Let the fireworks begin. Alex is going to send a message by attacking. He's probably going to feel not super confident about this working out, but he's going to go for it.
All right, GP Atlanta, your pairing.
He's left himself with 4 mana available, which means that Peter easily outclasses this.
Yeah.
Counter,
Pairings are making their way to the pairing
counter,
boards. And again, pairings.
negate, negate, negate.
Have your pairings for round 8.
and Peter has 2 more. And that's going to do it. Alex Lloyd has to put that one in the bin. This is turn number 5 for Hollman. He's going to have no way to get Alex Lloyd from 14 to 0 with his blue-black control deck, and these players are going to pick up a draw, and this is no good. This is Alex Lloyd picking up his second draw, and it gets pretty bad from that point.
Yeah, you're going to be
He's gonna
playing
go
a
for a-
lot of control mirrors from there on out.
He's going for a Gonti here, but this is just going through the motions for Peter because he just can't kill Alex. He just doesn't have enough mana, time, energy, any of it. And he's going to pass, and that's going to do it. So we've got more live magic here from Atlanta, but first, these messages.